What is up, you beautiful people out there on the internet? It is I, Michael Shockman, here with our next episode in Season 3 of our series here on the DM Shockman Institute of D&D 5e Simplified, where we cover all the bits and bobs, all the nitty-gritty pieces of the player's handbook, and yeah. So today we're going to be covering, continuing on with our armor and shields series of things, and covering medium armor, both the statistics thereof as well as the descriptions, which is going to be kind of cool. I did want to also let you know, as a quick aside, I will also be doing weapons in this series, as well, in this season as well, just to kind of get it out of the way, you know. Since there are only a few types of weapons, there's only, like, I think 2 types of weapons, martial and simple. Anyway, really quick before we dive into things, if you wouldn't mind doing me a really quick favor, please smash the like button and hit the subscribe button. Also be sure to ring that bell icon so you never miss an episode. Last but not least, please be sure to leave a comment down below telling me, are you a fan of hide armor? Are you a big fan of, like, the scaly hide? Are you a fan of chain shirt or scale mail? Or are you more of the plate wearing type of person for medium armor? Do you prefer breastplate or half plate? Let me know down below. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's dive into today's episode on medium armor. So, to start off, medium armor offers more protection than light armor, but it also impairs movement more. If you wear medium armor, you can add your dexterity modifier to a maximum of +2 to the base number of your armor type to improve your armor class. That's the base description of the whole category. As it stands for hide armor, going down the list, we have hide armor. This crude armor consists of thick furs and pelts. It is commonly worn by barbarian tribes, evil humanoids, and other folk who lack access to the tools and materials needed to create better armor. Next, we have chain shirt. Made of interlocking metal rings, a chain shirt is worn between layers of clothing or leather. This armor offers modest protection to the wearer's upper body and allows the sound of the rings rubbing against one another to be muffled by the outer layers. A good example of the chain shirt is the mithril chain shirt that Frodo wore in Lord of the Rings. Next, we have scale mail. This armor consists of a coat and leggings, and perhaps sometimes a separate skirt of leather covered with overlapping scales, overlapping pieces of metal, much like the scales of a fish. The suit also includes gauntlets, which is kind of cool. Next, we have, and a good example of that is the armor that Tom Cruise wore as Jack in the movie Legend. If you haven't checked out that movie, highly recommend it. It's good 80s campy cheesy fun, which actually just so happened to be directed by Ridley Scott, and I did not know that for the longest time. Anyway, moving on, we have breastplate. This armor consists of a fitted metal chest piece worn with supple leather. Although it leaves the legs and arms relatively unprotected, the armor provides good protection for the wearer's vital organs while leaving the wearer relatively unencumbered. We'll get more into that in a minute. Another thing about breastplate is that it often has pauldrons or spalders, so shoulder pads. It doesn't have any, like, arm protection or leg protection as it states, but it does have it's more than just the breastplate. It's kind of like a full-on thing. Anyway, last but not least, we have half plate. Half plate consists of shaped metal plates that cover most of the wearer's body. It does not include leg protection beyond simple greaves that are attached by leather straps. Now, what this means is half plate is like the upgrade to breastplate. It has pauldrons, the breastplate, it's got tassets over the thighs, it's got metal greaves, it's got gauntlets, it's got bracers, it's got all kinds of stuff. It's definitely a good one. Now, that is all of the descriptions. Let's move on to the statistics. Okay, so starting off at the top, we have hide armor. For 10 gold pieces, you get a 12 AC plus your dex modifier up to a maximum of +2. Next, we have chain shirt for 50 gold pieces and a 13 dex modifier plus a dex modifier of +2. Next up, we have scale mail, which is again for 50 gold pieces, which guarantees you a 14 AC plus a dex modifier of +2, but also imbues disadvantage on um, on your stealth checks. Uh, After that, we have the breastplate, which is 400 gold pieces, quite a big jump, and also imbues 14 AC plus a Dex mod plus 2. Does not impose disadvantage on your stealth checks. And last but not least, we have half plate for 750 gold pieces, nearly twice as much as a breastplate, but imbues 15 AC plus a Dex mod plus 2, and does actually impart disadvantage on your stealth checks. Now, the last little thing that I left off on, none of these have a strength requirement. You can use them at any point as long as you're proficient. And going down the list with hide armor is 12 pounds, chain shirt is 20 pounds, scale mail is 45 pounds, breastplate is 20 pounds, interestingly enough, and half plate is 40 pounds. So actually, of all of them, scale mail is the heaviest, which is kind of hilarious. Um, yeah, guys, that's kind of about cover it for the statistics. Um, I do just want to point out really quick that medium armor is probably one of the most prevalent versions, but it's also one of the ones that's the most limited. Um, if I'm going to go for armor, I'm actually going to prefer to use either light armor or use heavy armor. Magical heavy armor is some of the most protective and some of the coolest to wear, in my opinion, although you do need to be pretty strong to wear it. And light armor just is awesome in and of itself. Medium armor, in my opinion, kind of bridges the gap, sort of, but at the same time, it also limits the amount of AC that you can possibly have. It's just that it's a lot more common. Um, excuse me. The in terms of the worlds that D&D takes place in, it's a lot easier to make a suit of to make a breastplate or a suit of half plate, ideally, than it is to make a suit of full plate or even splint mail. So from a role-playing standpoint and a world-building standpoint, it's a lot more plausible that that a journeyman craftsman would be able to make medium armor as opposed to heavy armor. So anyway, folks, that's going to about do it for me for today. Stay tuned for next week's episode when we cover heavy armor and all the things therein. Really quick before we sign off, please be sure to follow the links down in the description. You know what they do, you know where they go, you know what to do. I'm Michael Schockman. I've been your host and commentator. And remember, as always, guys, keep it real, keep it safe, keep it healthy, and we'll see you guys again soon in the Institute. Bye-bye, guys.